So, let's dive right into understanding the water cycle. The water cycle is this amazing continuous process that moves water from the Earth's surface up into the atmosphere and then back down to the surface again. This process is crucial for life on Earth as it helps regulate temperature, replenishes fresh water supplies, and drives the formation of clouds and precipitation. Now, the water cycle can be broken down into a few key steps. First, we have evaporation, where water from the Earth's surface, like oceans, lakes, and rivers, is heated by the sun and turns into water vapor. This water vapor then rises up into the atmosphere. Next, we have condensation. As the water vapor in the atmosphere rises higher and cools down, it turns back into tiny liquid water droplets. These droplets group together, forming clouds. When the water droplets in the clouds become too heavy, they fall back down to the Earth's surface as precipitation. This can be in the form of rain, snow, sleet, or hail, depending on the meteorological conditions. Finally, the water that falls as precipitation makes its way back to the Earth's bodies of water through processes like runoff, infiltration, and groundwater flow, completing the water cycle. And then the cycle starts all over again. So in a nutshell, the water cycle is this incredible process that moves water between the Earth's surface and the atmosphere, playing a vital role in our weather and climate. Alright, let's move on to our next topic, which is evaporation. Evaporation is a fascinating process where water changes from a liquid state to a gas, specifically water vapor. This transformation occurs when the sun's energy heats up the water on the Earth's surface. You might have noticed this phenomenon when you see a puddle drying up on a hot sunny day. Now, evaporation is essential for the water cycle as it helps transfer water from the Earth's surface into the atmosphere. The rate of evaporation depends on several factors, such as temperature, humidity, and wind speed. For instance, the higher the temperature, the faster the water molecules move, and the more likely they are to evaporate. One interesting thing about evaporation is that it's a cooling process. When water molecules absorb energy from their surroundings and evaporate, they leave behind a cooler environment. You may have experienced this while sweating on a hot day. As the sweat evaporates from your skin, it cools you down. In summary, evaporation is the process where water changes from a liquid to a gas, driven by the sun's energy. This transformation is a vital part of the water cycle, allowing water to rise into the atmosphere and eventually form clouds. Now that we've discussed evaporation, let's explore the next key process in the water cycle, condensation. Condensation is the process where water vapor in the atmosphere cools down and turns back into liquid droplets. These droplets then group together, creating clouds in the sky. So, how does condensation happen? Well, as water vapor rises high into the atmosphere, it encounters cooler air. This drop in temperature causes the water vapor to lose energy, which then leads to the water molecules slowing down and sticking together. As more and more water droplets come together, they form visible clouds. You might have seen condensation happening right before your eyes without even realizing it. For instance, when you have a cold drink on a warm day, you may notice water droplets forming on the outside of the glass. It occurs because the cold surface of the glass cools the surrounding air, causing the water vapor in the air to condense into liquid droplets. To sum it up, condensation is the process where water vapor in the atmosphere cools and turns back into liquid droplets, ultimately forming clouds. This process is crucial for the development of precipitation, which we'll discuss in more detail later on. Now let's delve into the concept of atmospheric pressure and how it affects weather conditions, particularly the development of low-pressure systems that can lead to rain. Atmospheric pressure, also known as air pressure or barometric pressure, is the force exerted by the weight of the air above a specific point on the Earth's surface. This pressure is influenced by factors such as temperature, altitude, and the rotation of the Earth. In meteorology, we often talk about high-pressure systems and low-pressure systems. High-pressure systems are associated with sinking air, clear skies, and generally stable weather conditions. On the other hand, low-pressure systems are characterized by rising air, cloud formation, and the potential for precipitation. So, how does a low-pressure system lead to rain? As the air in a low-pressure system rises, it cools down, causing the water vapor within the air to condense into liquid droplets, as we discussed earlier. These droplets then group together to form clouds. When the cloud droplets become large and heavy enough, they fall to the ground as precipitation, which is often rain. It's important to note that the movement of air masses and the development of low-pressure systems can be influenced by factors such as the Earth's rotation, topography, and the presence of weather fronts. These complex interactions between various factors ultimately determine the specific weather conditions we experience, including the likelihood of rainfall. In conclusion, atmospheric pressure plays a crucial role in determining weather conditions. Low-pressure systems, in particular, can lead to the formation of clouds and precipitation, including rain. Understanding these processes helps us appreciate the intricate workings of our planet's atmosphere. As we wrap up our discussion on why it rains, let's examine the different types of precipitation and the specific meteorological conditions that contribute to their formation. Precipitation occurs when water droplets or ice crystals within clouds become too heavy to remain suspended in the air, falling to the ground as rain, snow, sleet, or hail. First up, we have rain, which is the most common form of precipitation. Rain occurs when the temperature in the atmosphere is above freezing, causing the water droplets in clouds to fall as liquid. The size and intensity of raindrops can vary, ranging from light drizzles to heavy downpours. Next is snow, which forms when the temperature in the atmosphere is below freezing. In these conditions, water vapor in the air skips the liquid phase and directly turns into ice crystals. These ice crystals then group together, forming snowflakes that fall gently to the ground. Sleet, also known as ice pellets, forms when raindrops pass through a layer of freezing air close to the Earth's surface. As the raindrops encounter this cold air, they freeze into small ice pellets before reaching the ground. Sleet typically occurs during winter months and can create slippery conditions on roads and sidewalks. Lastly, we have hail, which is a type of frozen precipitation that forms within thunderstorms. Hailstones begin as tiny ice pellets that are carried upward by powerful updrafts within the storm. As these pellets are lifted higher into the storm, they encounter supercooled water droplets that freeze upon contact, causing the hailstones to grow larger. Once the hailstones become too heavy for the storm's updrafts to support, they fall to the ground as hail. In summary, precipitation can take various forms, including rain, snow, sleet, and hail. The specific meteorological conditions, such as temperature and the presence of certain weather systems, contribute to the formation of these different types of precipitation. Understanding these processes helps us appreciate the complexities of the Earth's atmosphere and the weather it produces.